Good morning, Robert. Is my audio okay? Trying a new lapel mic, and I want to make sure that the audio is okay. All right. We'll go ahead and get started here. Coffee with Rich. Once again, I am Rich Brown, co-founder, co-host of the American Warrior Society and the American Warrior Show. Hopefully my audio is coming in okay. Thanks for joining me, Robert, so far. Like and share this if you enjoy the content. I appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit of coffee. It's always cool. If you're a coin member, put your coin up at any time. Love to see you out there. And where are you from? Obviously, I'm here from East Tennessee, and like I've said the last two shows, my fields needed to be cut, and they have been cut. It looks great out there. Let's talk about the coffee I'm drinking this morning. I'm having it in Warrior Camp 2017. These are some tumblers we did for the camp attendees. We had a few left over. The fight is coming. Are you ready? I think what our original slogan was. And now the fight is coming, be ready, which is a little bit different turn of a phrase, means a little different. Rudy, good morning, sir. Glad to have you on board. And again, if the audio is okay, kind of give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Let's talk about an article that I want to share with you guys this morning. Again, all articles are free. I'm going to throw that out there. It doesn't cost anything to read any of the hundreds of articles we have available on the site from our amazing authors. The article is 10 Tips for Carrying Concealed. Now, everybody, if you look on YouTube, and YouTube is free, you get what you pay for, but I watched a lot of these carrying concealed videos from former soft guys or just average folks on the street, and I tell you, I think they were missing some things. I really did. In my background in carrying concealed, I started carrying a concealed handgun for Uncle Sam back in 1992 after attending the high-risk personnel course up at Quantico, Virginia. And I was on a protective assignment and took my guy and took him all over North Africa, the Middle East, Southern Europe, etc. And so I got a lot of experience carrying concealed in other countries back in the early 90s. And then, let's see, I got out, got my concealed carry permit in Tennessee back in 96, was a police officer for 3 years, and literally been carrying concealed handgun for 27 years. So that's my background on what makes me think I'm qualified to write a top 10 tips. And of course, I shared this with my partner in crime, Mr. Mike Seeklander. He blessed off that he concurred with them, and we did a show on them as well. But I'm going to give you the top 5 of my 10 concealed carry tips. And they are, number 1, get the training. Get the training. If you don't get the training, you probably shouldn't be carrying concealed. Sorry, folks. But it's not for everybody. It is a skill just like anything else. If you're walking down the road with a guitar, I would assume you knew how to play it. So you need to know how to be a professional, get the training. And the training isn't what I'm talking about before there's any confusion. I'm not talking about the state mandated class. And again, guys, give me a thumbs up if the audio is okay. It's not the state mandated class. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going beyond that. Remember, a minimum goal is not what you're striving for. That's just the starting point. So that minimum goal is the thing that you're going to be needing to accomplish. The second thing is the gun. Now the gun is, good morning, Elkie. Good morning, Gerald. The gun is something that a lot of people use, and it's the first thing that they think about. The gun shouldn't be the first thing you think about. It's important, I get it. But what kind of gun are you carrying? And one of the things that we use, a diagnostic, if you will, to decide if the gun is appropriate is the REAP test. And it stands for REAP, reliability, ergonomics, accuracy, and power. Number one, reliability. If the gun isn't reliable, you don't need to be carrying it to defend yourself or your family. Morning, we got more folks jumping on. Good morning, guys. We're talking about the article that I'm telling you about this morning. I encourage you to go read. It's top 10 tips for concealed carry. We're talking about number 2, the gun. Number 3, we're going to talk about know the law. When it comes to know the law, I'm talking about know the gun laws in the state you're in or the state you're traveling to. Let's throw knife in there as well, because that should be part of your EDC. And knife laws can be a little sketchy around the country. Carry laws. What are specific carry laws, where you're at and where you're going? I'll give you a case in point. I probably used this on the show before, but this one kind of blew me away. My state, Tennessee, has reciprocity with a great number of states in the country. We have a pretty good system for granting concealed carry permits. And I could carry concealed in the state of Texas. If I were to eat at Applebee's in Tennessee, that's more than appropriate. But if I go to Texas, let's say, and then there's a 51 at Applebee's, I cannot carry concealed there. You know why? I can't carry concealed because 51% of the profits come from the sale of alcohol. Now, that means nothing here in the state of Tennessee, but it means everything in Texas. So make sure you know the law in those states that you're traveling to. And lastly, self-defense law. Can I use self-defense and third party? When and where and how does proportionality play? And there's a lot of things with that. Mr. Andrew Bronca, we've had him on our show several times. He's a good friend of Mike and I. Andrew Bronca's got it all covered for you in his amazing book, Law of Self-Defense. I literally, no kidding, keep it on my bedside table because as I'm packing to go to the new city and I'm locking my gun case up and all that stuff and throwing it in the bag, I will literally grab that book out and read, okay, well, what can I do in Arizona? Let's see, I'm traveling from here to Louisiana. What can I carry in Louisiana, and how do they interpret their self-defense laws? Good morning, guys. If you're just joining in, like and share. Really appreciate that. Let me know if the volume's working okay. I've mentioned that several times, and I'm really not. I'm not sure if the volume's okay. The reason I'm asking, you'll notice I have no mic here this morning. I'm using a little lapel mic, and I want to make sure we're still good to go. So we're talking about an article. We talked about get the training, number 1. We talked about the gun, number 2. We talked about the law, number 3. Let's talk about number 4, and that is consistency of carry. If you've made a decision to carry a concealed firearm, carry your firearm. Very simple. And if you're like, well, Rich, this rig I'm carrying hurts me, get a new rig. Well, the pants, get new pants. You'll find if you've been carrying for a while, you're going to have to go up in pant size. That's okay. Get a bigger belt. Whatever it is becoming the nuisance. Work around it, figure it out, but consistency of carry. Mike mentions it several times, and I think he's right. When we're carrying a concealed firearm in the community, we should be a force multiplier. So the only way you can do that is if you're armed in order to do that. So let's see here. If you're a coin member out there, guys, go ahead and throw your coins up. Give you a shout out and let me know where you're from. And while you're typing that in, let me tell you, guys, the 5th and final thing is mindset. Now, you might be going, Rich, what? Mindset's number 5. Guys, mindset could easily be number 1. But remember, mindset is not a verb. Just because you say you have mindset may not mean what you think it means. Now, while we're waiting on those folks, let's go ahead and talk about our 10 tips to win the fight. We talked about the 10 tips we put out there in an article. We also did show 190 where we actually break it down, Mike and I. We go into all the details of these 10 tips and elaborate on it. So if you say, well, Rich, I already heard the podcast. I really don't need to read the article. That's fine. I hear you. But we do a little bit deeper dive in the article and have some links there for you. So I encourage you to check that out. Okay, guys, I've been kind of teasing. We talk about gadgets a lot. Kind of been talking about, I'm going to go into the the things I'm going to be carrying to Europe here in a few months. Now, I'm leaving Tennessee, and we're actually going to go to Paris on New Year's Day. And then we're going to go up to Dublin and all over Northern Ireland, Belfast and all this stuff. And then we're going to go over to the UK proper. So I want to be armed as much as I possibly can. And I want to give you the things that I'm going to be carrying. All this stuff is relatively UK legal. And let's dive in. Now, the first thing I'm going to take with me as my everyday carry is jiu-jitsu. Because I carry it right here. I carry it here. It's not something that I have to get checked when I go in there. I'm also carrying gravity with me. Gravity works everywhere. You know, some throws, some hip tosses and stuff like that. You get to carry gravity with you everywhere you go. You get to carry physics and leverage everywhere you go. So, again, I encourage you, if you haven't really learned some really good unarmed combatives, get out there and learn that stuff, because it will definitely save your life. So I'm also going to be carrying with me my years with the Red Cross as a disaster operations guy and working in these kind of things. So that, I think, is going to help me. And I'm carrying my years, 23 years in the Marine Corps and combat and travel and all the things I've done there. So my point is, it's more than just a gadget. I want to be very clear with that. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to be carrying is a bottle of water. And you're going to say, well, Rich, why are you carrying a bottle of water? And if you're just joining, we're talking about European EDC. Go ahead and give me a like and share, comment. Guys, where are you from? If you're a coin member, I'd love to throw your coin up there. So I'm carrying a bottle of water. Now, why am I doing that? A couple of reasons. Number one, stay hydrated. The second reason is, and this may seem a little paranoid, but I assure you it's not. It's about being prepared, not paranoid, okay? And that is acid attacks. The UK is the #1 place for acid attacks in the world, where they literally throw acid in your face and rob you. They're averaging 15 acid attacks a week, 15 a week. Not something we really have to worry about here in Tennessee. There's some quick things you can do. If you have a bottle of water, you can start flushing their face with it, get the clothes off of them, keep dousing them with water. Dial 999 because 911 may not work over there. I mean, some of the cell phones are designed so that they'll make that leap from 911 to 999. Don't count on it. Dial 999. Get people en route to your emergency there in the UK. Keep water, flushing that wound out. So that's the first thing, water. My next thing I'll be carrying is my phone. Incredibly important piece of survival equipment. We can use it for whether you use a SIM card. When you get over there, you purchase a SIM card, pop it in there, and you're off to the races. Or you decide to let your carrier know you're going to be going to Europe. I think we spend on average about $10 more a day in order to use our phone overseas. You can use it as a piece of navigation equipment. You can search for places to go and places maybe you shouldn't go. You can use it for dinner reservations, hotel tickets. You can use it for a whole lot of things, Uber, Lyft, all this stuff. The phone is incredibly important. Please don't forget that. Ballistic glasses. Now, this is another one, like Rich, no brainer. Okay, man, I get it. You're going to be wearing sunglasses, but I can tell you, coming from being in combat and being in a disaster relief environments, you know, you got a lot of things that can injure your eyes. Again, we're going to be in Paris. We're going to be in the UK. We're going to be in Ireland, and for a long time, and this is something that you need to protect your eyes. If there's an acid attack, God forbid, you're going to at least have your eyesight and you're not going to be blind like those folks out there. So protect your eyes. Second thing is going to be rental car keys. And I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but I'm telling you, it can easily happen. And I don't have a set of rental car keys here, but rental car keys, your room keys, your Airbnb keys, whatever those things are, you need to be carrying those with you. A watch. Come from an era, folks, where we didn't use a phone to tell time. So I will be carrying a watch. This is a relatively expensive watch, comes with a few downsides, because one of the acid attacks I read about was a guy that they targeted for his fancy Rolex watch. Now, this isn't a Rolex, but it is shiny. Now, when I'm wearing this watch or whatever watch, it'll probably be because I'm going to be there in winter. It'll probably be covered up by my coat or what have you. But being that this is a big, heavy watch, It can be used in other ways. I can barter with this watch if I had to, if things really got bad. So I'll be carrying a watch. Local currency, guys. Cash is king. If you don't believe that, wait until the power goes out and I will make a believer out of you. When we went to Italy a few months ago, the first few places we stopped at, Wi-Fi wouldn't work. Couldn't use the card. If you didn't have cash, and these are some pound notes issued from the Royal Bank of Scotland, and you can use them in Scotland, but I don't think you can use them in Great Britain. And lots of coinage. Make sure you have plenty of coinage. A lot of the restrooms in Italy, you had to put euros in there before you could go in. So make sure you've got the local currency squared away before you leave the airport. Trust me, it will save you. I'm going to be carrying my wallet, and this is an RFID wallet made by Columbia. It's a phenomenal piece of gear, and if people are out there skimming and targeting tourists in some of these locations, just electronically waving stuff around, you wouldn't even know it, and they're stealing your information, at least I've got that protected. I've also got this in here. This isn't a room key. This is what I use to shim locks with. If I lock myself out of my hotel, my Airbnb, lock myself out of my house, there's a way to use the credit card trick. And many of you probably have already heard of this before, but if you don't know how to do it, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to. I taught my wife this the other day. I taught this to my wife the other day, and what was interesting was she didn't know how to use this. I taught my son this. And the interesting thing was it had a side benefit. Once they saw how easy it was to break into our house, they knew how important it was to lock a deadbolt. This won't work on deadbolt. So again, if you're in Europe, the last thing you want to do is is get locked out of your room. So I carry one of these. I'll be posting an article on how to do that, how to get in. Will be photos and a video and stuff so that you know, if you don't already, how that you can get into your home if you get locked out using a credit card. And notice I don't use my own personal credit cards. I carry a room key I got somewhere. And if it gets destroyed doing that, that's fine. Let's talk about, we did the wallet. Let's talk about the flashlight. ProTac 1L. And again, if you're just joining us, hey, love to have you. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing comments this morning. I know you're out there. I appreciate it. Not sure what's going on with Facebook. We'll charge ahead. ProTac 1L by Streamline. Amazing little piece of gear. As you can tell, it's beat up, and I've carried it all over the world. 275 lumens. See how disorienting that can be? But it's a pretty amazing piece of gear. It could be used. Got a little gnarled surface on there. But an amazing piece of gear. Don't leave home without it. One of the things we found was in touring castles and all this other touristy stuff is there's not always emergency lighting in some of those castles. There's not always adequate railing systems and things that the building codes here in the United States do a phenomenal job with. We do not have those over there. So guess what? A flashlight is money in the bank. Okay. If you're leaving comments, guys, I can't see them. I love you. I see a string of people that are joining me. Glad to have you. But I appreciate everybody getting up this morning, but I can't see your comments. So sorry, but we're going to keep pushing forward. And while we're pushing forward, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. And if you want to get one of these tumblers, you can check out our store, AmericanWarriorSociety.com. Click on the store link, and you can pick one of these up. But you can't pick up the Warrior Camp 2017. You had to be an attendee to get this. And once again, Pete's Coffee out of my Nespresso maker. So we just did the flashlight. Very important to carry it everywhere you go. The UK legal knife. If you haven't been watching the news, they have some serious problems in London with knife attacks. And London being, everything's banned in London, including naughty words and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty silly over there. But even with banning everything, you can still carry this, which sounds pretty crazy with all the knife problems they're having. Let me tell you why you can carry this. It's got a 2-inch blade. It's non-locking. It does not lock. a locked knife or a switchblade, a fixed blade, all those will get you sent to prison. But this guy right here, it doesn't lock. It's just like any other, you see that? But what's interesting is you can put your finger here, curl it around, and then it won't close on you if you had to use it. So believe it or not, this is a UK legal knife. It's made by Spyderco's Bird. So you can get one of these on Amazon. I carried it with me the last time I was in the UK. I didn't get any funny looks from the bobbies. It was in my pocket clip, just like I normally would carry it. I probably could take a zip tie and turn this into a mini wave opener, but I'm not sure how they would look at that. So the UK legal knife. These are also legal, Swiss Army knives. Now here's the deal with knives. One final thing, if you're thinking about carrying a knife in some of these non-permissive environments, please read the knife law. One of the things that it says is you can carry a lock blade knife in the UK, provided that you have a damn good reason. And they give you like 3 or 4 reasons that you can carry it. And it's like, I'm taking the knife to a museum. I'm taking the knife home after I purchase it and I have a receipt in my pocket. So there's some reasons when you can, but don't go to I don't want to go to a police station in Europe and try to explain and all this other stuff. I will probably carry a copy of the law from uk.gov as to knives and why these are legal knives, but it specifically mentions Swiss Army knives as being okay. So I carry this. I've been carrying a Swiss Army knife recently. And I find just like a flashlight, I use it more than I thought I would because it's got a Phillips head screwdriver on there. It's got a flathead on there. It's an amazing thing. And again, guys, if you just joined me, I can't see your comments. Not sure what's going on with that. People are texting me. I love you. Appreciate that. Can't see them. Glitch with Facebook. So we're going to push ahead. We talked about the UK legal knife. This is laying here. This is one of these things that I really love. Remove before flight tab. I keep this on my go bag. Anything that is not TSA compliant, I make sure that it's kind of hanging out there. And this makes sure that I pull it out and get rid of it before I try to step on an airplane. Really like those. You can pick up a 3-pack on Amazon for probably $10. They're nothing, and it will save your butt. Let's talk about we did the knife. Let's talk about the bandana. This is something that when I was growing up in Tennessee, a lot of old timers were carrying around bandanas with them, and I thought, it's pretty hot this year. I've got this bandana I use a little bit on the farm. Maybe I'll start carrying it with me. And I tell you, I really, really like it. Several things you can do with a bandana. I can signal with it. It's like a red panel marker. If I'm walking through the woods, I can tear little strips of it off, tie them around twigs, and kind of leave like a trail of red breadcrumbs, if you will, to where I'm going. It makes a great bag if I needed to tie something up and secure some stuff. I could do that. It could be a field expedient tourniquet. It could be a breathing mask, if I'm out in a sandy area. If it's something that we're in a fire, wet it down, protect myself. It does a lot of amazing stuff, as you might imagine. It could be used as a compression bandage. I could go on and on. There's all kinds of amazing uses for this thing, and I find that, again, as I've been carrying it, almost 50, folks. I'm one of them old timers now, and I really like my bandana. Let's get into the blood kit. Let's see. Let's get into the blood kit. Now, all this stuff isn't going to be in my pockets, although it does fit in my pockets just fine. Some of this stuff, like the blood kit, and the other thing I'm going to show you here in a second, is stuff that could go easily in my jacket pockets. So, what is in my blood kit? Really simple stuff. Nothing crazy. I've got a pair of gloves. Personal protective equipment. I want to protect myself from bloodborne pathogens. That's all nasty stuff. So I'm gonna put those on before I do anything. Seal locks. You can't tourniquet everything, guys. You got a neck. I could dump this on. Use this as some sort of modified pressure bandage. Dial 999 and get the UK EMS folks on their way. And then finally, a tourniquet. This is a rat's tourniquet. I really like these tourniquets. Some people poo-poo on them. That's fine. I have one of probably every tourniquet on the market right now, and there's none of them I don't like, but this one's pretty cool. One of the things you can do with this is you can put it around your waist and cleat it in the front and tuck it under your belt, and nobody even knows you've got a tourniquet on you. So it is an amazing little piece of gear. Doesn't take up much weight, much space. Again, I think they're pretty much, you can carry them anywhere. So if we're somewhere like, an Ariana Grande concert, who would have thought they would send people in there to kill folks at an Ariana Grande concert? But they do, and it was in the UK. And with being in France and the UK, God only knows what could happen. And I will be without a firearm. So this is my blood kit. Here's another thing, and I've got folks texting me here because I can't see your comments. All right. The last thing I carry on me, and you're probably like, Rich, what is in that black bag? You may have saw, I put a picture of all my EDC on there. Also, we have a London police officer who is a AWS member. We have American Warrior Society members all over the world. Mike and I are very blessed for that. We have them in Germany, Sweden, Finland, South Africa. Matter of fact, one of our South African members is on right now. Good morning, sir. He knows who he is. Israelis, all kinds of folks out there, a lot of them in South America. Well, our guy, our American Warrior Society member who's a London police officer is going to be writing us an article on what he carries in the UK. So it's going to be interesting. We haven't shared notes. I'd like to see what he's carrying, but that article is going to be coming up soon. And once again, that article is absolutely free for you on our site. Just go to AmericanWarriorSociety.com, select membership option, just the articles, and you can read all those articles for free. I'm going to be doing an article on this guy right here. Before I talk about it, let's talk about run, hide, fight. If you find yourself in an active shooter or some sort of event like that, whether it's a terrorist attack or just some mass murderer, run, hide, fight is a motto you need to be thinking. Now, it isn't always in that order. It isn't always run and then hide and then fight. It might be fight. The guy might jump out with a gun right in front of you, and your only option, if you want to stay alive, is to take the fight to the guy or gal right then. But let's say you do have time to run, and you do have time to hide, and we are in a foreign country because this is my EDC. I can have this in my back pocket and secure any door that I find myself in. If I go into a closet, I can use this gadget to secure the door, and nobody's getting in. So it's a great little tool. And once again, I'm going to be doing an article on how do you use this because it looks a little complicated, and it's not. The second thing is we're going to be bouncing from Airbnbs all across Europe, like we always do, me and my lovely bride, and I believe she's on this morning. And I need an ability to secure any room that we find ourselves in. So that's where I went with that. It's, again, very lightweight, very small, doesn't take up much room. It normally rides in my go bag, which goes with me in my truck. And I've got it whenever I need it, so I can secure those rooms, because I'm really big on hardening these days. And that, folks, my box is empty. That's my Europe/UK EDC. That's this week's gadget. Next week, we're going to be talking about some edge weapons, where I carry them, how I carry them, what I carry, and all that other kind of stuff. So that's going to be the gadget. Final thing we're going to do here this morning, since I can't engage with you in comments, and I really hate that, is I want to talk to you about the vault. I showed you a little bit about a blood kit and stuff like that, but I want to tell you about inside the training vault, which is where our premium content lies, all the training modules that we've got. We also have a medical module. And some of the things that's in there, Dr. Dan Olesnicki, founder and creator of SWAT Fuel, one of our sponsors of the American Warrior Show, he takes Mike and walks Mike through a lot of really cool stuff, like how to build an IFAC kit. What is he, as a trauma doc, ER doctor, and SWAT doc, what does he put in his IFAC and why? So that you can build your own, and you can probably get everything you need from Amazon. He talks about tactical shot placement. As a SWAT doctor, if he had to shoot somebody, where does he put those rounds to have immediate incapacitation and stop the threat? Also talks about wound management. How do you manage the wounds? How do you stop shock from occurring? Because shock can kill you, folks. And lastly, he talks about tourniquet application, tourniquet selection, all these other things. So it's an amazing module that you need to check out, one of the dozens and dozens of modules. You can take a free 1 month on Mike and I. It doesn't cost you anything. Get in there, learn the medical stuff you need to keep you and your family safe, and then jump out again. Or stay and stick around inside the training vault and learn everything you need to know to make you harder to kill. So I would be reading comments right now, guys, and I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I'll call Mark Zuckerberg when we jump off here in a minute and see if I can't figure it out. But I want to say thanks for joining everybody that tuned in this morning. Looks like we had a pretty sizable crowd. Please like and share this, and we'll get the bugs with Facebook worked out. I don't know if you can see the comments. I unfortunately cannot. I've been drinking Peak coffee, and you want to check out this or any of the other American Warrior Society swag, you can do that on our site. And it's been another great Friday morning. I was blessed to have you guys share it with me, and wish I could have saw your comments, but I absolutely cannot. Let's see. Mike says expand the window here. I don't think I can. Don't know what that means. We'll get it worked out, folks. First morning it didn't work. Oh, I got a phone call. This is fun. Hey, pal. Yeah, this is Mr. Mike Seeklander. He wishes to say good morning to all you guys, and he joined us, and he wants to, what else, Mike? What else I forget? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Be safe. That was cool. Almost like a Mr. Rogers Neighborhood moment. But that's Mr. Mike Seeklander. He's up in Vermont teaching a class to some motivated folks. Not sure what's going on here, but I really appreciate you guys coming on. All of our American Warrior Society coin members out there, thanks for joining me this morning. And what I might do next week, because I know it's early for you guys in California, and for our members in South Africa, I'm not even sure what time it is over there. Wish I was there with you. I really need to get over there someday. But thanks for coming out. What I might do next week is a special just for American Warrior Society coin members on Thursday morning, and I'll try to get the time so that the guys in the West Coast can join us, and I'll talk about some of the things I'm going to talk about on Friday. So that'll just be for our coin members. And if you don't know what a coin member is, check out AmericanWarriorSociety.com and find out more. So guys, gals, thanks for coming out, and be safe.